Hi, Russ of Aquarimax here. My son recently got a corn snake, and for today's first Friday feeding, we'll be feeding this corn snake. Of course, we won't be feeding it live food, both for the safety of the snake and in the interest of humane treatment of rodents. So we'll be feeding it a previously frozen and then thawed fuzzy mouse. The first couple of feedings for this snake, I fed the snake so that I could show my son how to do it and kind of coach him on how to do it, and now he's taken on that responsibility himself. And he's learning how to do it quite well, I think. The snake is feeding really well. We are feeding him in a tub because that is what the previous owner did. We figured that it would be a good thing to maintain some consistency in as much as the snake was being moved to a new environment and so on. So that seems to be working really well. The snake has always demonstrated a pretty good feeding response within a short time of being put into the tub. Right now it looks like the snake is looking for the head of the mouse, trying to locate best place to grasp. Of course, if it grasps it face first, that's always best. But it looks like it's going to grip it on the back of the head here. Yep, there it goes. And my son's just twitching it a little bit to make sure the snake is committed. It tends to encourage them to grip well and sometimes to constrict. We haven't seen our corn snake constrict any of the prey that it's taken, but that's not too unusual considering that all the prey is not alive when it's taking it. Now it's going to take a minute for the snake to adjust so that it can get a better grip for swallowing face first. It won't take it too long though. And as the snake is eating, I thought maybe I'd tell you a little bit about why we decided to get a snake and why we specifically chose a corn snake. Well, I'm lucky in that my family loves snakes. My entire family, my wife and kids, all enjoy them. Oh, look, there he goes. He's starting to adjust now and unhinge his jaws. I always find that really fascinating, how they can do that. And he's trying to kind of walk his jaws along the mouse until he can get a face-first grip to sort of facilitate swallowing there. Anyway, so my family loves snakes. I've been interested in snakes at least since I was 6 and caught a snake on my grandma's front lawn. Probably longer than that, to tell you the truth. But as a kid, I kept some snakes short term. I would catch garter snakes, and I caught gopher snakes, and I caught a rough green snake, and so on. But I never really kept one long term. As an adult, I did get to work with some snakes in a zoo. There were quite a few in the collection I worked with, but the eastern indigo snake that I worked with was probably my favorite. It was about 5 feet long, beautiful black snake, extremely docile. It was a lot of fun to work with, and I've often thought it would be nice to have a snake, but only recently, in the last maybe 6 months or so, I've started to do some more serious research into getting one and, refreshing the information in my mind, what it would need and that kind of thing, and deciding which species, that sort of thing. So been doing that, been watching Snake Discovery and Clint's Reptiles and several other channels. Those are 2 channels that would be nice to check out if you're interested in keeping snakes. And so those are, some things that I've been pondering and working on for a while. Snakes are also super low maintenance. I mean, this one, at the age of 14 months, is eating about once a week. And as it gets older, it becomes an adult, it'll only need to eat maybe 2 to 3 times a month. It's pretty low maintenance. And the infrequency of eating decreases the amount it needs cleaning too. So it does need cleaning every time that it produces waste, and then a deep cleaning once a month or so. But it's a pretty easy pet, and that's something that we look for in our family. We have a lot of pets. It's important to make sure that we can give them all the care they need, so low maintenance pets are a great thing. And another reason is that I'd love to do a bioactive enclosure for this snake. A lot of people have a lot of success with bioactive enclosures for snakes, and I've done a lot of bioactive enclosure for various species of gecko and invertebrate, but I've never done a snake setup, so I'd love to do that. But why did we choose a corn snake specifically? Part of that goes to ease of handling. Corn snakes are usually pretty docile, and this one is definitely docile. We've been able to handle it really easily. It's not flighty. It can be a little nervous when we're taking it out of the cage, especially if maybe it was resting or asleep, not sure we were there, and so we try to move slowly so it knows that we're coming. But once it gets out of the enclosure, it is really calm. It loves to just sit on our hands. It will also like to explore, but it's not at all a flighty snake. So corn snakes tend to be, really good for handling. And another reason is that they're really not very picky eaters, and this snake obviously is no exception. It's really easy to get it to eat. There are some beautiful snakes out there that are more prone to hunger strikes or to being picky about what type of food they want. So we were glad to get one that's easy to feed. And corn snakes, of course, are readily available. This one was an adoption from someone local who could no longer keep it because she was going off to school. But if we had wanted to, we could have found one at a local expo or at a pet store and so on. Pretty easy to find. They're also not very expensive. This one turned out to be extremely inexpensive, especially considering that it came with an enclosure, and it came with an under-tank heater, and it came with feeding tongs. It came with 2 months supply of food. It came with a lot of things. So they are often inexpensive. If they're one of the fancier morphs, that's something else. Those can often be more expensive, but this one was pretty inexpensive. As far as we know, it's the classic or normal morph, but it is absolutely beautiful. I love it just the way it is. I think it's a gorgeous snake. Not to say that there aren't some other gorgeous morphs out there, but the normals are amazing, I think. Corn snakes are also a great size. They get to be approximately 5 feet long, a little shorter and a little longer as possible. But that's perfect in terms of the size of snake one person can handle easily, and the size of the enclosure that it needs works great. And its diet was also a great thing for us too, because we really didn't want to feed anything rats, even ones that had been frozen and thawed, because we've had rats for pets, and even a frozen thawed rat would be hard to watch a snake eat for many people in our family. So this one can handle mice its whole life. It doesn't need anything larger than mice necessarily its whole life. So we've really been enjoying this little snake. We're looking forward to many years with it. Corn snakes have a fairly good lifespan. We might have it for another 15 years or so. We look forward to giving this little snake the best home that we can, to watching it mature. They're just fascinating creatures. There's a certain grace to the way they move, to the way they do really everything. It's pretty amazing that an animal without any legs at all can possess the degree of grace that snakes do. Well, it looks like the snake is finishing up with swallowing its meal. Thanks for watching this first Friday feeding. I post videos every Friday, all on aquarium and vivarium pets. Please feel free to rate, share, comment, and if you haven't already, subscribe, and then click the bell icon so you don't miss my next video.